Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. We're happy you're spending some time with us. Chip and Zay holding it down right here on the midday on Texas Sports Unfiltered. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to Texas Sports Unfiltered, the YouTube channel, so that we, continue to grow. It's always good. And if you're listening to us on the app, the Texas Sports Unfiltered app, please play along on the Circuit of the Americas COTA text line at 512-222-9328. And of course, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, please give your attention and money to these incredible sponsors around our faces who make it possible for us to broadcast to you each and every weekday. He is Zay Collier, the right call, we call him. Greatest basketball official in the history of Central Texas. Zay, how is your Tuesday?
Not too shabby, my friend. Feeling good, feeling great. Chip, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Been running around, gonna run around some more. So had a chance to meet up with Sean Miller, the new men's basketball coach at Texas. That was very informative and good. And then after the show, we'll head down to football practice and get the latest from Steve Sarkeesian following training camp practice number 6. And obviously, the news yesterday, Andre Kojo, the offensive tackle who suffered a knee injury. I was told they were waiting for MRI results to make any kind of official statement regarding Kojo's injury. On Texas Football reported it was season ending. I imagine Steve Sarkeesian will address that today. And so, Texas fans are knocking on wood that is like an isolated thing and that they continue to grind now that it's 25 days until the season opener at Ohio State. Your thoughts? No.
Oh, come on, man.
No.
Come on, baby.
What's wrong with you?
Nah, I just like joshing with you a little bit. Yeah, this is time you hold your breath. We talked about it yesterday. That's right, Michael. All time, baby. All time. If I would have stuck with it, your boy's jersey would have been in the rafters. I'm like the Derrick Rose of high school officiating. I didn't get hurt or anything, but when I was at my peak, I was at my peak. So look at it like that. It wasn't long. 3 years, 4 tops. Then I gave it up to talk with you people and, talk that sports talk. You dig?
You dig?
I'll let Michael know, man, because Michael, some folks will be like, all right, Jay, let's relax. You know me, Chip. I'm a humble man.
You are a humble man.
You know what I'm saying? I don't pat myself on the back very often. But when it comes to this ref game, that humbleness goes right out the window. All of it. Like,
I'm gonna get you back in the game, dog.
You know what? I need to just to get in shape, because that's how good I think I am. I'll be doing the game, I'll be putting in for the love of the game. It's just kind of like the game needs me. The high school game needs me.
Right.
That's just one of those. Not on a school level. That's too much. I don't want to get back to there. But weekends, little tournament, give me a little 4-game stretch. Nothing above that. The money, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the love of the game because the game needs me. So
but you love it.
I do love it.
So if you love it, who knows where it could take you?
I mean, who knows, man? I see some of these old timers in the league, like Dick Bavetta. I don't know if he's still with us. I hope he is. If he's not, my bad, Dick. But he was like 80, reffing LeBron and stuff, reffing Kobe. So if Dick Bavetta could still do his thing, then I still could get back in the game if I want to. Do I really want to? Do I have the love for it that much? Kind of like Derrick Rose too. The knees aren't the best. Just keeping in the buck. The knees aren't the greatest. I would have to get my LeBron James on and invest in a lot of recovery in order for me to be in tip-top shape. And we all know I'm not even close to LeBron when it comes to this paper. So I got to be realistic about it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, don't go Tim Donahue. Yo, I can't be like Tim, man. Yeah, Dick Bavetta, he's still alive?
He's still alive. He's 85.
Damn. Yo, Dick just retired 4 years ago.
See, all those years of officiating kept him young.
Yo, Dick Bavetta. Nah, don't put that on me, hair of the dog. I'm not calling for Dick Bavetta's death. With how good of in shape he was, he got at least 10 years left in the game. He got at least 10 years left. Dick Bavetta was in good shape. I don't remember his calls being worth a flip. I don't think he changed the game. I don't think he necessarily helped the game, which sometimes those make the best refs, the ones that are kind of invisible. I don't know who you are, but we knew who Dick Bavetta was because he was chasing Barkley and stuff, and he was around a long time. But yeah. Dick just retired 5 years ago.
80.
So, yeah. So like I have a lot of confidence to get back out there. Just gotta tighten up the calls, tighten up the mechanics, and yeah, man.
Yeah, we gotta get you. We gotta get you back in the game, doing what you love. I mean, you can love to do a lot of different things.
For sure.
I mean, I know you love doing the show.
Absolutely.
And you love officiating basketball games.
Absolutely.
So, my dad always said, if you love something, it's not work. And you could get paid for officiating.
Oh, your dad was a smart man.
We could see you, reffing SEC games one day.
Whoa.
NBA.
Yeah, SEC games, I'm a little too close. They be doing background checks. I probably wouldn't get that call, which is fine.
What you mean?
Come on. Let's say they had me doing A&M Auburn. This is where that Tim Donahue stuff comes in. I wouldn't be like Tim Donahue.
What you doing?
But I'm sure the folks can do their research and find a plethora of takes of me bashing A&M somehow, some way, to where it might come back to haunt me. Doesn't mean that my intentions would be foul.
Right. You could say that was a different day and time. I was doing,
right.
Doing sports talk radio then. And now I am all about this officiating, and I am fair and unbiased, and I don't see jerseys. I just see calls.
Exactly. Like when I reffed Westlake, wasn't biased at all. I was actually very proud of myself during those times. You could ask the coaches for Westlake. They love me, which Westlake, I was always one of my favorite places because, the hospitality room was crazy. Them folks, man, even though they, think pepper and ketchup is spicy, They had enough for me to work with. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate Westlake for having me there and ref those games. But yeah,
People be taking notes. Okay, we want good calls. We got to have good hospitality when Zay's repping.
See, that won't do nothing. That means nothing.
That's right.
We're gonna call fair game.
That was just a test.
Yeah. See, I don't got no old tweets really. I got a Mike Elko tweet from 2024 SEC Media Days, which all I said was Mike Elko looks like an Aggie. And Texas fans, they ran with that. That wasn't on me. I just said he looks like an Aggie. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's what you want.
That's what you want if you're Mike Elko. You want to look like one of them.
That's right.
Texas fans, they found something wrong about it, which I can't help that. And then there was that dark-skinned brother that I retweeted that was wearing the military fit. You remember this after the game? Dark-skinned brother wearing the military fit. I said, yo, get this brother out of here. And that went crazy.
What? Was he in the core?
Yeah, he was in the core. Dark-skinned brother, darker than me, made me look light-skinned. I like that brother. And he looked hopeless that night, which a lot of Aggie fans did. That was a rough night. Texas fans, it's been a long time since that game was played. Texas came in, Kyle Field, beat that ass, went on to the SEC championship. So all I said was get this brother some help. Somebody took it the wrong way. Folks started calling me racist, this, that, and the third. Be like, yo, how can I be racist? Jerry Seinfeld, how can I be racist if I like the race? I am the race.
I am the race.
What are we
talking about?
Aggie fans, man, they're in their feelings on that one, which I couldn't help. But yeah, it'd probably be a little difficult for your boy to ref SEC games at this point in my career, which is fine.
All right. Well, we'll start off with high school.
Yeah, high school. Work my way up to Sun Belt. Who knows from there?
Yeah.
I could ref Sun Belt. I could ref Sun Belt right now. I could ref because, they above the rim, but not like that. They get up and down, but I could keep up with that.
All right, let's send an email to the Sun Belt head of officials.
Bet.
Let's get you going.
Bet.
Let's get you back in action.
I'm with it. No, I didn't take bribes. No. Yeah, if you want to
bribes, he loves the game.
Yeah, you slip a 20 in my pocket. I just think, okay, my birthday was a while ago. This is that. That's what I'm telling you, IL. I'm still reffing the fair game. Watch the film. The film don't lie.
They gave me a little birthday money. Yeah.
Birthday money. The film don't lie. I was always fair, Double D.
Well, Sean Miller said today, the film don't lie. And he was referencing, if guys can shoot or not. And he said that he thinks Camden Heide can shoot. He said, I want to make sure I say that Camden, well, I said that, right? Camden Heide can shoot. And he said that Jordan Pope can shoot.
Yeah.
He thinks Kendall Weaver is going to be a better shooter.
I've been saying this ever since he touched down at Texas. His jump shot is promising. And going back to his UTA days, UT Arlington, he shot the ball well.
Yeah, he shot 40%.
Yeah. So I don't know obviously the play is different, better competition, faster guys, more length, so when it comes to contested shots, it probably looks a lot different than the conference, which I can't even think of at the moment that UT Arlington is in. So that's more of a psychological thing, in my opinion, because the rim don't change. It's not like in the SEC, you're playing 9 feet rims. It's not like you're playing with a women's basketball. So you're playing in bigger arenas, so the depth perception might be different, but not crazy. So he has good form. He has good mechanics. Like that's what you could work with. You know what I'm saying? And you've seen him hit threes at times, but it just hasn't been consistent ever since he's gotten here. If he gets the right reps and the right shooting coach, and they can put him in the right spots percentage-wise in the game to where he shoots a higher percentage and he's not getting caught in places where he doesn't shoot, because people don't talk about that enough. Kind of like with football. I'm not going to put my quarterback in situations where he can't make the throws. So if he struggles with pretty deep outs, we're probably not going to throw that very often. So in basketball, if I have a player that, even though some guys can shoot from the corner, but he doesn't, I'm not going to put him there very often. That might mess up some of the chemistry that you have with your team, but also as a coach, you get paid a lot of freaking money to figure it out. So now don't have much sympathy for you there. And if he causes so much problems, sit his ass on the bench. Like, you got to pick and choose your battles here on who's productive and which ways that help your team become successful and who's not. And that's what the 40 minutes are for. You have to manage all of those minutes, and you have to play chess match with the opposing coach to see who could come out victorious there. So Kendall Weaver, find those spots for him and put him there and work on that. Reps after reps after reps. And he could surprise you this year because they missed him last season. As tough as Rodney Terry had it, they missed Kendall Weaver for a big chunk of last season. And I think if he were there most of that season, they wouldn't have been in that playing game. They would have been a team that made round of 68 comfortably, or round of 64 comfortably.
That's what Sean Miller said today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, Stevie Wonder could see that. So I hopefully he's gotten over those injuries. And like Sean Miller said, hopefully that shot comes along to where Kendall Weaver is one of those dudes. It's hard to get him off the floor.
And Simeon Wilcher, the point guard from St. John's, he said, you look at his shot, it's a pretty stroke. And he expects those four to be shooters who can hit open shots. So coach him up.
Yeah.
Coach him up.
Yeah, where Jordan Pope, where he is placed this year is going to be very interesting. And I can't, it was tough for him last year at times, especially playing in the SEC. When he was at Oregon State, he had a certain freedom that you didn't really have to worry about where your shots were coming from because you knew they were coming. You knew you had the ultimate green light. You come to Texas and you want that. Like, he came to Texas for a reason. He wanted to play against better competition and show what he's worth. And he wanted to put himself on a platform where he could win more ball games and get to the NCAA tournament, unlike he did at Oregon State those 2 years. But now you're going from an 18-point shooter to you don't know where your shot's coming from. You don't know how many you're going to get. And you're playing point guard, which he's not a true point. He's more of I always make this comparison, even though this guy was ridiculous and better than Jordan Pope. AJ Abrams. That's what you want to see in Jordan Pope. Like, you want to see AJ Abrams. I'm a 2, but I'm a smaller 2. My defense is tight. So when I guard other point guards, because that's who I'm going to have to be matched up against, I'm good. Like, he has to find that role. And it's going to be most likely off the bench. Like, I don't really see him starting on this team right now. I think Wilcher's going to start. I think Sean Miller is going to give Kendall Weaver the opportunity to start. Tremont Mark, Still don't know about him, but I could see him starting also. So if Jordan Pope can get with being, a sixth man or a bench player, I think he could be successful. But that offense, Frank Have, there's too much ISO ball, and he's not an ISO player. He needs to come off screens. He needs to make quick decisions off pick and roll and closeouts. And he's the type of player that has to have at times someone create for him because he's a really good spot-up shooter. But it's hard to take spot-up shots in the offense that he was in last year when Trey Johnson, he was worried about beating his man and getting the shot off by himself. There was no one to really create for anybody until at times Trey figured that out. And then it was too late when Rodney Terry figured out, man, Tremont Mark could actually create for other people for us. But we found out Tremont Mark was dealing with so many injuries, he kind of ran out of gas at times like he did in that Xavier game. So Jordan Pope, I think he's going to have a way better year under Sean Miller than he did this past season. And I think a big reason why is because he'll be playing in a natural spot, which is a smaller two guard.
Yeah. Well, Sean Miller gave an injury update. Tremont Mark, who had labrum surgery in his shoulder, is close to being cleared, probably in about a month. And Lacina Traore, who is coming off the torn ACL last year, is probably 2 weeks from being cleared for contact. So he's very optimistic, obviously, about the impact of both of those guys. Tremont Mark, we know, can play he's a combo guard. He can D you up. He's long. He's 6'6". Lacina Traore is the most physical big man they have, and a guy who would have started at center for Xavier last year. And he's been around. Like, he went to the NCAA tournament at Long Beach State and led that team in rebounding 2 straight years, averaging more than 10 boards per game. So it sounds like, he feels like he's got a roster that can compete in the SEC. They got experience and depth in the backcourt, not as much of that in the front court. But he said that Matis Vokatitis, who came in from Florida Atlantic, is a guy who is skilled around the basket, but also likes contact, is physical. So he thinks Matis will grow a lot this year, but that he likes contact. So going into the SEC from Florida Atlantic won't be a shock to his system, because he'll bang down low.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think Traore, that dude, he's going to surprise a lot of people. And I don't know how they're going to use both of those guys, Mathis and Lacina, because a lot of coaches, when you have a center, either one or the other's in the game. So is Sean Miller going to go that route, or is Sean Miller going to go to a 2 big lineup at times? That's what I'm always looking for when I look at these college basketball teams. How versatile can your lineups be? Because you just play so many different coaches with so many different type of styles and philosophies. You got to be able to switch up your style in the heat of the moment and have players that can improvise. Kind of like what we're seeing with Texas football. Like, one thing that Steve Sarkeesian and this coaching staff does so well, at different position groups, they can move guys around. Like, we heard about Mookie Taft possibly playing nickel. Jalen Gilbo going to the outside corner. Now with the Andre Kojo situation, what does that mean for the offensive linemen? Guys that might be guard now might be getting some tackle action. Basketball, it's no different. You know what I'm saying? That's why LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time, because he's so versatile in what he could do. So having a lot of players that could switch it up, Draymond Mark, you might need him to be your point guard at times. You might need him to orchestrate your offense, or you might need him to play off ball, depending on if Simeon Wilcher is having one of those games. Now you got Daru in there coming from overseas.
Declan Daru.
Declan Daru, who I'm very excited about. He has a lot of upside, and I think he's going to solidify himself as the starting power forward for this ball club, and I think he could hit the ground running at 6'9", step out and shoot it, long, more athletic than you think. You talk about that front court being a little light. I'm expecting Nick Cody to make a jump and get some playing time. I think Dalen Swain could be a Swiss Army knife guy that you could play at your power forward spot, and also have him bring the ball up and be your point guard. Like Sean Miller, in a limited amount of time, he's put together a very competitive roster. I'm not saying that they're going to win the SEC and get to the Final Four, but this team is going to be a tough out just on paper. Now, everything else has to go right, from injuries and, just everything that also happens with college basketball around the nation. But this roster compared to last year's, it's like night and day. And if you're a Texas basketball fan, you got to be really excited about what Sean Miller is bringing to the table here in year one.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell he's an old school guy, and he's adapting to all the new age NIL transfer portal house settlement life in college athletics. I asked him about team building, and he brought up Sark's Culture Wednesdays. That, when Declan Daru and Louis Obiora from England, from London, those guys are not here yet. They'll be here in a couple weeks. That when they get here, he might have his own version of Culture Wednesdays. So, because he said, when you're in a situation like this with a new coaching staff, nobody knows anybody, and you got to get to know each other quickly. But he likes the makeup of the group that he's got.
Yeah. I can see Dalen Swain being first team All SEC this year. I really do. I think that dude, there's something about him, just watching him play, like he doesn't even know how good he can be. I know Sean Miller talked about his 3-point shot, him becoming a more higher volume 3-point shooter, and he's been working on that. If he gets that down, he'll be a problem.
Yeah.
That dude, especially defensively. Like defensively, that's the guy that you want guarding the best player. And they have a lot of guys that could do that. Like you trust Kendall Weaver guarding your best player. Like you trust Draymond Mark at times guarding your best player, depending on who that is. Simeon Wilcher, he's no slouch. The dude played for freaking Rick Pitino. You better play defense. Like Rick Pitino literally sat out one of his best players in the tournament, RJ, whatever his name is, because he didn't play defense in the tournament game that they lost. A dude that was Big East Player of the Year sat his ass down because he wasn't playing the defense that Rick Pitino needed him to play at the time. So Simeon Wilcher, he understands defense mentality, and Dalen Swain does also. Defensively, this team should be a lot better than last year. And
well, I want to see Camden Heide play D because his offense is going to be essential. 6'7" 3-point shooter, played for Matt Painter, has been to a Final Four. That dude, to me, is sort of an X factor for this team. I said, is he a leader? And Sean Miller said, I think he can be. He said, we'll find out more about our leadership as we get into camp. So it's exciting. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't quite know what you're going to get, but the ingredients appear to be there. So it'll be interesting to see what media days and what the media thinks of Texas and where they project them and all that. But we'll get there.
Yeah,
so
I like Heidi too. Like I'm starting to get on the Heidi train because those stats, that was the issue. Those stats, I'm like, yo, I don't get, because he was productive for Purdue.
Yeah, but he was behind a veteran.
Yeah.
And so he was a rotational guy, but yeah, his numbers were legit.
I mean, it was like it's the things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
That's what he like Tony Allen type stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's what's exciting about Heidi.
Selfless.
Yeah.
He makes his teammates better, hits open shots. He's not going to take over a game, but he's going to facilitate, he's going to hit open shots, and you're going to be like, "Oh man. That was a big shot right there," you know.
Yeah, Bruce Bowen, Derek Fisher, those guys.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Vernon Maxwell.
Camden Heidi. Remember that name. He's got a girl's name for a last name.
That's okay.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's 2025.
Yeah. Makes you stand out.
Yeah.
Makes you special.
Yeah. I saw a freaking guy on the podcast bashing Caleb Williams about his preferred sexuality because of his nails. And I was like, good grief. Is this where we are, y'all? Really? Like, I get it. It's 2025. Let the kid paint his nails, man. That's what they do. This generation's different. You gotta adapt. You gotta adapt with it. I think Caleb Williams could still be really good, but Chicago, a tough crowd, boy. Chicago,
Chicago. That's what being a fan of a team owned by the McCaskey family is going to do to you. Like, they're starting to figure it out, kind of like the Lions, but the Lions, thank God, Willa Ford took over because she brought common sense, kind of like Jeannie Buss did to the Lakers. But man, the Bears, who is it? Ryan. Who's the GM there? Ryan. He's getting some stuff done.
Ryan Poles,
and he's made a lot of seemingly the right moves. They brought in an offensive line. They'll see if they can play connected and protect Caleb Williams. But I mean, you got some dudes now. You got some receivers. You got tight ends. They drafted Colston Loveland, and they have Cole Kmet. They got Roshan Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yeah, Rojo. It's the year Rojo gonna prove to everyone he ain't no punk, man. DeAndre Swift, I know he's good, but Roshan Johnson, look out.
Yeah, Rojo is great because he's special teams. He does it all, man. Like, DeAndre Swift ain't doing no special teams.
No. I don't know if he's doing special teams like that anymore, though.
Huh?
I don't know if Rojo's doing special teams like that anymore. Because if Swift goes down, he's your guy.
Yeah, maybe. Although Rojo is probably like, you can't afford not to have me on special teams. We'll see.
Once upon a time, I'm sure he had that mindset. And I think if they went to him and asked him, he'd definitely do it because he's all about the team. One of the best teammates you're ever going to find is Roschon Johnson. But I think he's too valuable to be at that. Like,
Maybe
him stealing that spot.
Especially with Ben Johnson as the coach now.
That's what I'm saying. I can see him stealing that spot. Because I know they're paying Swift a little bit more money. Rojo's still on that rookie contract. But I just, there's something about that third year for certain guys. I think Roschon Johnson, he's going to turn some heads this season.
Well, plus DeAndre Swift's bouncing around. He went from the Lions to the Eagles to the Bears. It's like, if he was that good or special, there's something wrong where they're letting him go after a year. So,
yeah. Didn't he have with the Lions? Didn't he have some pretty bad injuries there?
He had one, but yeah,
he's
that was the knock.
Yeah,
was that he was injury prone, couldn't quite count on him. But, come on, Rojo. Take over that operation.
I saw a side-by-side photo of Ben Johnson of when he first got the job to now, looking rough. Looking rough. And they're saying this is what the Bears do to you. Which you could catch like a candid photo of somebody, looking an awkward way just because it's life. Everybody, I scratch my nose on here. You snapshot that. I'm out here looking crazy. Like it's not fair to Ben Johnson, but also it's kind of like a sign. Like, this is what the Bears do to you. They wear you down. They make you look disheveled and tired. Look like you aged a few years. All that excitement that you had when you first got in the building, over 200 days later, is that excitement still there? Are you feeling that heat?
What do you think about that division? The NFC North, the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears. Who are you expecting to make a move?
I
feel like the Vikings kind of surprised everyone last year, obviously with, that quarterback situation. It was supposed to be McCarthy from Michigan. He goes down, and then all of a sudden, old boy from USC steps up and has a Pro Bowl year. Now he's in Seattle.
Yeah, Sam Darnold, that was incredible what he did until the last two games where he loses the division to your Lions, and then they get absolutely boat raced by the Rams, which that game was in Arizona due to all those fires that were happening in January. But yeah, I think that division still one of the best in football. The JJ McCarthy thing is going to be interesting. Like Justin Jefferson, he had some interesting words about JJ McCarthy, which doesn't make you feel optimistic if you're a Vikings fan. I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said, yeah, he's going to have rookie moments. Like, we're just trying to make him feel comfortable, but he's going to have rookie moments. Like, no duh. But also, that's not what you want to hear. Like, usually, everything I'm hearing with Michael Penix right now is Michael Penix can't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you would like to hear. Like, Justin Jefferson is like, I'm frustrated. We just had a guy have a Pro Bowl season, and we got rid of him for a rookie. Justin Jefferson is starting to hit that prime era where the Vikings, they've been close. Like, they haven't been, the last year of Kirk Cousins before he tore his Achilles, they were right there too. And then they lost in the playoffs. I want to say the Giants. That was a huge upset. And then the year after, the Sam Darnold thing. They get rid of Kurt. Like, now they got a rookie who is a rookie, even though he's in on his second year, didn't play any last year. That was pretty dink and dunk, if you ask me, during this time at Michigan. Like, J.J. McCarthy,
Right.
that run game was so dominant,
Everything.
he didn't have to do much.
Right.
So I haven't seen it. Like, yes, you're a national championship quarterback. That does mean something.
You also lost to TCU the year before.
Right. And he played his ass off that game. That game, TCU, McCarthy was really good. But I'm a little questionable about, skeptical on Minnesota Vikings this year. I think the Bears are going to have their struggles. I think it's going to be between your Lions and the Packers. And I think the Packers, all you need is that one player that can take you to another level. And Matthew Golden might be that.
Oh,
he might be that. I don't know. Like, Romeo Downs isn't bad. Jalen Reed isn't bad. Matthew Golden, we saw it all last year. He has a little bit of that it factor to him. Jordan Love, another year under his belt. Jordan Love's looked pretty good throughout his early starting career. The Packers, man, that's who you have to worry about this season.
Josh Jacobs, man, he needs to stay healthy because that dude's a hammer.
Yeah, he's good.
They have Mecole Hardman.
Do they really?
They got some depth. Dontavian Wicks. Of course, Matt Golden's already penciled in as a starter.
Oh, man.
Ahead of Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, is water wet? What are we talking about?
Well, you got Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, man. No.
He's my
thing. Have
thing.
a similar impact. Obviously, they're not the same player or type of player. I think he's going to have a similar impact like Xavier Worthy had for the Chiefs in his rookie year.
Yeah, it's possible. Here's the thing. People forget the Packers have Devontae Wyatt, the kid from Georgia, played on the national championship team in 21. And they got Nazir Stackhouse, the monster Georgia defensive tackle that tormented Texas last year. So they're starting to stack studs. They have Rashawn Gary, who Alan Clark has Colin Simmons watching some tape because Alan Clark worked with Rashawn Gary. Packers defense, they let some dudes go, so we don't know much about their secondary. Carrington Valentine, Evan Williams at safety, Xavier McKinney at safety, Keyshawn Nixon at corner. So they felt good enough about those guys to let some high-paid veterans go. So, and of course, the Lions have a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Let's hope for the best.
Does Terrion Arnold make that jump for the Lions? How confident are you? Because you were hard on my boy Terrion last year, and you were really excited about him when he was coming in. Alabama got a lot of hype coming into the draft. You were excited about him. That went in the crapper real quick. How do you feel about Terrion Arnold, cornerback for your Detroit Lions here in year 2?
He's got to show me a lot because to me, that was a lot of growing pains that didn't really pay off. Like, he didn't get better as the year went on. He was still clutching and grabbing, and I didn't see the upside. And God, compared to Brian Branch, who walked in day one, picking off Patrick Mahomes, taking it back for a pick 6 in his first game in the NFL. Damn, Brian Branch is a monster. And, Kirby Joseph, I like him. the guy they love is DJ Reed. So I am hoping that DJ Reed is the answer in that secondary, because the corners have been a problem. And Ennis Rakestraw, the 6'3" corner they got from Missouri, drafted out of Missouri, he's finally healthy. So I want to see what that dude can do, because when he was at Missouri, he was not bad. So yeah, DJ Reed at corner, like they don't even have, well, and Amik Robertson, he was fantastic last year. He's the one who had the 2 interceptions against the Texans that got him back in the game. So yeah, if Terrion Arnold will pick it up, damn, that was like,
it was a rough rookie year.
Yeah.
I was still shocked with how Steve Sarkeesian and Texas handled him that 2023 year when Texas goes into Tuscaloosa. They were going at Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
They were going at him. They were going at Caleb Downs. All those guys, could care less. Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, JT Sanders, Jay Witt. We saw what Quinn did. They had a field day. But I remember Terrion Arnold holding and grabbing and getting beaten. And then all of a sudden, fast forward that year, and he ends up being the top corner in that draft class. It's crazy. But I never got it. And then you see him in his rookie year. Those were the things that I saw at Bama where he was struggling at. But I also saw some good plays, which is why he got drafted that high. But, yeah, I got to see some. I'm with you. I got to see some here in year 2. Because if he could take that leap and y'all could actually stay healthy this season, unlike last year where y'all are pulling guys off the side of the road in tents and stuff and putting them on the roster. Hey, can you run? Stopping in 8 Mile, stopping in 9th Mile and stuff, picking up brothers on the side of the road. Hey, how fast you run, brother? You know what I'm saying? What's your 40 time?
Man, I saw you running from the cops. You look pretty fast.
You running from the cops. You look fast as hell. What you doing for the next 10 days? We could use you on defense. That's what it looked like, damn it. I was sad. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all need that. Y'all need that help on y'all side this year.
For sure. Yeah, man.
What up, Jose? You got a good question per usual. Chip, during fall camp, do they have a starter after each week? Then it's up to the non-starters to dethrone them. Seems like lost positions are already done.
Yeah. No. Nothing's done. And the coaches are keeping everybody on edge. But I know from talking to, team sources that a lot of Grayson Littleton is the guy to beat at nickel. Jalen Gilbo and Malik Muhammad are the guys to beat at corner. And that's not to say that they can't be beat. I mean, if Kobe Black just has an unbelievable camp, then I'm not saying that he would be the starter, but I could see him rotating and getting equal reps. At safety, you got Jelani McDonald and Derek Williams. It's going to be hard to take Michael Taff off the field because that guy is such a quarterback of the secondary, has, studies film, knows what's coming. As Pete Kwiatkowski said, can get us out of a bad play into a good play. Those guys are invaluable. That's your dream scenario. You got to have guys like that in the secondary. And so nothing's, they don't have a board like in the team meeting room, showing who's number one at each position. The coaches have that in their own private meeting rooms, but the players don't see that. So the players are just left to battle. And then, you know, they'll know by who's running with the ones all the time, who's, you know, but if guys are rotating in, like we're seeing at the defensive tackle position, we saw Hero Canoe and Travis Shaw open with the ones at the beginning of camp, but Cole Brevard's gotten reps with the ones. I hear Murad Watson's starting to get some reps with the ones. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a battle, you know, to the end. And it could be that, you know, we'll count up the snaps after game one, because that'll come down to who's playing well in the game. You know, you'll start off with a pair of defensive tackles, and then you'll rotate guys in. You know, they have those little Microsoft iPads, whatever. That's a total, whatever they call, whatever Microsoft's version of the iPad is. They can tell who's holding point, who's not. And then the guys who start may not end up with the most snaps in the game, but it's unbelievable. I wrote about this today, and the position flexibility and the fact that they're able to help Trey Moore try to show the NFL that he can be an every down linebacker, because they have Colin Simmons. Now, if they didn't have Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, you're playing on the edge, but they have Colin Simmons. So Trey Moore now gets a chance to move to linebacker and show the NFL he can be an every down linebacker. And, oh, by the way, Brad Spence, you've already shown you know how to play linebacker. We know you can rush. We'll put you on the edge for this year so you can show the NFL that you can also rush the passer. Because I'm expecting Brad Spence to be back at linebacker next year if he doesn't have a season that allows him to turn pro. So, and then you got Jalen Gilbo making the move from nickel to corner, just like Jade did. Jalen Gilbo said, Jade told me, you know, go out and show him you can cover. So Jalen went to Akina. He went to Mark Orfe and said, hey, I want to play corner. And they said, okay, we'll let you play corner. And, oh, by the way, that opened the door for Wardell Mack and Grayson Littleton. And Grayson Littleton is like a prodigy. And, you know, I compared him to Nathan Vasher the other day. That's not fair, but Nathan Vasher became an impact player as a freshman. That's really what I was getting at. I mean, Nathan Vasher set records here. He's tied for the career record in interceptions with Noble Doss. So, you know, that I'm not going to put that on that kid yet, because he's just learning where his classes are on campus. But that kid is special. I can tell you that right now. That kid is special. I'm writing about him for the Insider this week. And that's a story you're going to want to read, because this dude is different. So
Grayson Littleton.
Yeah. So that's a deal where, you know, good on Terry Joseph, because Terry Joseph recruited him. And, you know, I mean, he's a top 100 player, so it's not like he's scrub, but with all the talent in that secondary, and I don't know who had Grayson Littleton in the pool as the starting nickel, and it's not done yet, but he's given those coaches every reason to believe. And then you hear Jalen Gilbo talking about him. Jalen Gilbo's like, he's one of them ones. He's one of them ones. I think he's going to get it done. And that's a guy who just played that position. So I think it's going to be something else, man.
Yeah, with the Kojo situation, that was really the battle that we were looking at. Kind of everything else, like you feel like they're going to be at least 6 deep in the interior on the defensive side. So right tackle, that's what we were looking at. And now Andre Kojo, most likely out for the rest of the year. Brandon Baker basically wrapped that position up. So now that's what you're looking at is the 2 deep guys. Like who could sneak in to those spots that might be behind the first team, but also you're going to get playing time because we know Sark and the coaching staff, they want to keep guys as fresh as possible. So toward the end of the season, you can be playing your best ball. And for Jalen Gilbo to go up to the coaches and be like, yo, I want to switch positions. I want to go to the outside. They could say no. Like they could say, yeah, we appreciate you, but we think you're better on the inside at that star spot. And it makes us better. For them to be like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll move you. That means they are very high on Grayson Littleton and Wardell Mack because they wouldn't have done that. You don't just make big time decisions like that. Same with last year. Like Jahdae Barron going up to those guys and being like, move me to the outside. If Jalen Gilbo wasn't reliable at that star spot, that move might have not been done. So it has to be like a domino effect. Like, okay, we got to make sure these spots are covered if we're going to move you. Like you said with Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, like Colin Simmons going to get a lot of reps this year. Ethan Burke is going to get a lot of reps this year. Brad Spitz, he's going to be in the mix of that. Colton Vasek. There's a lot of dudes that are capable. So Trey Moore, we go move you to the linebacker spot because we can. We're that deep overall. We can make moves like that. And that's why this team is on the coaches poll ranked number 1. Because how many universities and schools can do those types of things? Like Sark and them, they're in a different category. They got a lot of guys that are one of them ones. And when you have a lot of guys like that, hey, sky's the limit.
Yeah, there's some interesting, like, 2 deep battles going on. Like, we know Endries is going to be the every down tight end, but who's going to be the second tight end in 12 personnel? Is it going to be Jordan Washington, Spencer Shannon, Amari Winston, who we know they love, Nick Townsend, who we know they love? And Townsend's been here for like 5 minutes, and he's already making impressions on people. Jeff Banks already saying he's a guy who's going to surprise as a young player. That's insane. That's 4 dudes battling to be that second tight end in the 12 personnel. And then, running back. Okay, if they're going to bring CJ Baxter along slowly, okay, Quintravian Wisner, and who? Could be Christian Clark at nickel. Wardell Mack at corner. Kobe Black, Warren Roberson, Cade Phillips, who Jalen Gilbo also said he one of them ones. Because he said he can play man, he can play off man. We know he's got those long arms. He's fast as lightning. And Cade Phillips. And then it's safety. I mean, you got Jelani, Taff, Derek Williams. Who's the 4th safety in that mix? Is it Jordan Johnson Rebel? Is it Xavier Filsami? I mean, Anthony Hill was talking about Zalis Hicks. No one's been talking about Zalis Hicks. Like, everyone's like, oh, what's going on with Jonah Williams? Well, yeah. Jonah, 6'3", 217. Guy's barely 17, 18 years old. But Zalis Hicks, another 6'3" safety. Long, will hit. I mean, I don't know. Texas fans, you just need to thank your lucky stars. These are the good days.
Good days, baby.
5 years ago, 6 years ago, you talk about moving players around when they come and ask you to. Tom Herman would have had an aneurysm. He's like, you will play where we say you play, and don't ever talk to me like that again.
Nut job, man.
And that player would walk off and be like, I hate that SOB. And don't ever kiss me when I come out of the tunnel again.
Yeah, then he trying to kiss you afterwards. Yo, I would have shoved Tom in his face. Get the hell out my face, man. Oh, yeah, me and Tom. Nah, man. You can't treat me like dirt when the cameras are off. And when the camera's on, try to be all cute and sweet. That ain't happening. Nah, that ain't happening. Yeah, Tom was out of pocket, man. You're right. They couldn't do that with Tom. Couldn't do it.
He couldn't recruit like these guys.
No.
And it's so hard to build this kind of momentum and then sustain it. And that's where Sarkeesian, this coaching staff, Chris Del Conte, alignment, they deserve credit, because it's hard to build this kind of momentum. And I remember saying it. There weren't many missteps after 5 and 7. And what impressed me the most was that the plan that Sarkeesian laid out for Del Conte, Jay Hartzell, Kevin Eltife, all three of those leaders of the university said, even during 5 and 7, he was executing his plan and identifying, who's in, who's out. Said before he ever met with the players, the roster's totally out of whack. You got more receivers than you need and not enough offensive linemen. So he goes out, brings in 6 offensive linemen, 5 of whom are going to end up starting games for Texas. That's ridiculous. Even Sark said you expect like a 50% hit rate when you bring in a group of like 6 guys at one position.
Yeah.
And 5 of them are going to end up starting for Texas. Malik Agbo left. That's it. Banks, Williams, Cole Hudson, DJ Campbell, and now Neto Umazulu are all going to have started games. And 2 of them are in the NFL. So this it's just a different world. It's a different world from where things were 5, 6, 7 years ago. And even the last 5 years of the Mac Brown era. Mac wasn't hitting on offensive linemen. Hell, he wasn't hitting on quarterbacks. And I don't think anyone following Texas thinks that Steve Sarkeesian's going to have trouble recruiting quarterbacks or receivers or tight ends, and now offensive linemen, because they're going into the league. Right now, Texas had all 4 starters from last year are in camp with NFL teams, including Hayden Connor, who was a 6th-round pick of the Cardinals, and Jake Majors, who was an undrafted free agent with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Texas went 10 years without an offensive lineman. 10 years without one offensive lineman drafted in 7 rounds of the draft from 08 to 18. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. You are the flagship university, you're top 5 all time in wins, and you couldn't find an offensive lineman and develop them into an NFL draft pick. I mean, you want to know why Texas was wandering around in the desert for 10 years? That's why. Because it's a line of scrimmage game, and if you don't have dudes up front to win the line of scrimmage, you ain't going to win.
Yep.
You're getting just embarrassed by Bob Stoops and that defense. What? 55-17. When was that? 11, 12? Those days were over.
Oh,
we had 63-14, then 65-13 in back-to-back years, or not back-to-back. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know, 2000, 2001. And then you thought those days were over. Texas wins the national championship. And then 55-17 popped up out of nowhere. And you're like, ugh. Yeah. Like, Texas fans would go to the Cotton Bowl. They wouldn't know whether to yell Texas and fight because they didn't know what team was going to show up. Now they yell it all the time. They're like, Texas. Someone else yells, fight. And now the Oklahoma fans aren't saying boomer because they don't know what team's going to show up.
Oh, is that true? Sooner Cowboys. That true Sooner Cowboys. This is my favorite Sooner of all time. Sooner Cowboys is our dog. He shows up almost every day, 2 to 4, rocking with Chip and Zay just to hate. I admire that, man. Like, you are inspiration, Sooner Cowboys. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who listens to Chip and Zay here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Aggie fans, Sooner fans, Razorback fans, Tech fans. It don't matter. We don't discriminate. But Sooner
if you love college football, you're in the right place.
You're in the right place, man. Come in just to hate.
We're going to tell you like it is. If it's good, we're going to say it's good. If it's bad, we're going to say it's bad.
Oh,
if it's ugly, we're going to say it's ugly.
Yeah, well,
and I think the Sooners are going to be good.
Yeah, Chip believes in them. I don't think John Mateer going to be everything that everybody thinks he going to be, but we'll see. We'll see.
Schedule is rough for the Sooners, but they get a couple of their hardest games at home early. They get Michigan at home, they get Auburn at home. And if they win both of those, then OU is going to be undefeated 5-0 going into the Red River Shootout. And our buddy Lance Taylor is like, OU could be 5-0 and Texas could be 3-2.
I love that.
Because Lance is like, I mean, they got to go to Ohio State and they got to go to Gainesville. I mean, so we have a 50% offer going on right now at Horns 24/7 to become an annual member. And you should become an annual member so that you can get VIP access to all the other team sites on the 24/7 Sports Network, like Florida's. So you can check their practice reports every day to see how DJ Lagway is doing. So, or OU. Go check on OU. Go check on all your teams. So,
speaking of 24/7 Sports, shout out to your colleague Carter Carrolls of Texas A&M. Gig 'em 24/7. We gotta get Carl on. Carter,
what did he say?
He showed clips of Marcel Reed, dry, by the way, throwing the deep ball. It was not good. Multiple clips. Marcel Reed airing it out, overthrowing guys having to go out of their comfort zone to try to catch the ball, guys having to stop their stride to come back to the ball. It was cold. It was cold. And hey, Carter's just doing what he's supposed to do. Don't blame Carter for putting all them videos out. That's his job to do that. That's what he's giving the people. That's what he's giving A&M fans. on Gig 'em 24/7. But man, A&M fans, they didn't like that, Chip. They didn't like seeing that. And that's the thing going into this season with Marcel Reed, because he tried to joke and make light of a situation that he's continuing to hear, this narrative that he can't throw. He can't throw. So he came to the podium and he was laughing and stuff and was like, I mean, obviously people don't think I'm a passer, being sarcastic there and being like, all right, I'm going to show you that clip. And when I mean dry, that means there was no defense out there. It was just Casper the Friendly Ghost. That's it.
I'm watching it right now.
You're watching it right now. That's them some tough clips. That was some tough clips. I was like, damn, Carter. Like, it's cold-blooded.
I mean, there's some good ones in there too, but
it's solid.
You know what? He's like Sam Ehlinger. He's good when the deep ball is like an out, but he's bad on the seam routes. And Sam just struggled to get the right depth on a seam route. Now, when a guy breaks it like a post or a flag, it's a more suitable route to the quarterback's eye. A guy who can throw that seam route, that dude's going to make money in the NFL, because that's a feel throw. You can't, you're kind of looking down the line at the guy. And so that's interesting, though. Carter Correll's getting hammered.
No, Carter's not getting hammered. Carter's doing his job.
Yeah.
They hammering Marcel Reed. They're like, what the hell is this? Which Mike Elko's roster, it ain't bad. But Marcel Reed can't get it done. If Colin Klein can't unleash the greatness in Marcel Reed.
Well, that's the other thing. Year 2 with Colin Klein. Marcel Reed should be taking a big step up.
Yeah.
And if he isn't, because I was impressed. Marcel Reed went to Florida, got it done, beat Arkansas in Jerry World in a one possession game. I was like, okay, this dude's he's not making the big mistake. And then, I mean, he was up against Texas. Texas had arguably the best defense in college football at times last year. And then we saw what Georgia was able to do. Bottom line is, you got to have a running quarterback to beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Because if they know where you're going to be, they are coming. They're coming. Oh, now, Rex, come on now. You remember those days when Sam was struggling with the seam route. Now, he got better, and he's in the NFL now. Now he's a Denver Bronco, right?
Bronco, yeah.
I love Sam. Sam Bam, Ehlinger, baby. God loves Texas, bleeds Texas. But he was struggling on those seam routes.
That's all right.
Sam liked it when the receiver's crossing. I think every quarterback likes that. But yeah, Quinn struggled with it too. So I can't wait to see what Arch can do in a game with all the different routes. Because in practice, he looks pretty sharp, at least in the periods that we've gotten to see. That 25-yard out I was talking about, where Trey Owens underthrew it, got ripped, and then he threw a flat ball and missed by 3 yards and got ripped. Like, Arch was throwing dimes in that drill. So was KJ Lacey. But
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Got the future Bryce Young, Texas fans.
Yeah. Tap the brakes on that.
What you mean?
Well,
What you mean?
we got to see it in a game.
Sark knows what Bryce Young's about. Sark was part of that recruiting process. Was he not with Bryce Young?
Oh, yeah.
He was in the building in Alabama. He was going up to California. Him and Bryce Young got a good relationship, even though Bryce Young beat him when Sark was here in his first season. But
well, here's what's interesting. So if you land an Arch Manning, you need to bring in a developmental guy the next year, because you're not going to bring in like a Keelan Russell, a guy who could potentially play as a freshman, because you've got Arch Manning. So you've got to bring in a really talented guy who's a developmental guy like Malik Murphy. So you had Quinn, you bring in Malik Murphy, developmental guy who knows he's not ready, but in year 2 probably thinks he's ready, gets to show a little some, and then if the window's not open, he transfers out. I think that's how you would describe Trey Owens. And I think that's how you would describe KJ Lacey. Now, we'll see. We'll see, what happens at that QB2. Because Caldwell is a mercenary. He's here for 1 year, and he knows the deal. He's fighting to be one play away and get a chance to be Cardale Jones or, on a national championship team.
If I'm Matthew Caldwell, I'm hitting 6th Street and West Campus every night. Come on, man. What are we doing?
He's a good-looking dude, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Matthew Caldwell.
Yeah, just have a good time, bro. 3rd string, maybe 4th. Like, you just here to have a good time and be cool in the locker room. Be the funny guy. Be the guy that lightens the mood. But things might get a little dark. You know what I'm saying? Be that dude, because I ain't trying to see Matthew Caldwell at all. No offense to him.
Right. You want that 2005 season where everyone stays healthy.
Yeah. I want people hitting me up and be like, yo, that number, whatever his number is.
18.
18? Who the hell is that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Matthew Caldwell. I don't even know his number.
Oh, wait, sorry, that's Joe Tatum.
No, I think Caldwell's 18. They're both 18.
Yeah, they're both 18.
Bootleg, man. What
the hell? What are we doing?
Yo,
and you got my man Luke Dunham. He's at quarterback. He's number 25.
Oh, that's crazy. That's hefty lefty stuff right there.
Because
that's Friday Night Lights quarterback.
Because all those receivers and DBs won all those single digits.
Yo, that's crazy.
Ain't nothing left.
Yeah, you're a walk-on. You don't get to pick your number at all.
I mean, there's no number 10. There's no number 12.
Oh, yeah. You can't.
Those are up in the stadium.
Yeah.
So, imagine if they retired James Street's number like they should have.
Right.
Number 16. What? I guess Arch would be wearing number 18.
Yeah. Because Peyton wore 16 in Tennessee, but he didn't wear it.
Right.
NFL. He wore 18. Eli was always 10. What was Archie? Was he like a single digit number?
I think Archie. No, he was 18
at Ole Miss.
He was number 8 with the Saints.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That single digit one. But
yeah. All right, let's get a couple mentions in here. Hey, my guys who are snoring, Sleep Cycle Center, take advantage of this incredible offer while it lasts. Sleep Cycle Center. For my guys who are snoring, it's more than just annoying to the people sleeping next to you. It could be the sign of a serious health issue. And Dr. Chad Denman's been, he's dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea because it killed his own dad at the age of 60. And it's not a laughing matter, snoring. It's a sign of you're not getting enough oxygen while you're sleeping. That should grab your attention right there. You go to sleepcyclecenters.com. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. They're going to take $100 off your sleep study. Dr. Chad has the best technology to diagnose sleep apnea. He's going to know exactly what level of sleep apnea you have, if you have it. And then he's got all the treatment options, including oral appliances like I have. A mouth guard that holds your lower jaw open while you sleep. This is an incredible offer. So guys, take advantage of it. Locations in Lakeway and at the Arboretum. Just go to sleepcyclecenters.com, set up an appointment. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. They're going to take $100 off your sleep study. In cover 3, hope some of y'all made it out to cover 3 for all night happy hour last night. Tonight, you got trivia. That's right. Go to cover-3.com, sign up, and for $24, you're going to get food and get to play trivia for some awesome prizes tonight, 7:00, cover 3 Anderson. So check it out. Good summer fun, great food, great vibe, great service. Cover 3 Anderson, cover 3 Round Rock, and of course, cover 2 at 183 and Lake Creek. And hey, guys and gals, don't get caught slipping without your big screen TV this football season. All you got to do is go to the expert, our man Tom McKay, audio visual consultations. He's going to bring you the best price on big screens, surround sound, surveillance, electronic shades, new lighting, you name it. But all you got to do is call 255-8678. Area code 512, of course. 255-8678. Let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. You don't need to be lugging TVs around town, punching holes in your drywall. Let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. It's that simple. 255-8678 or log on to avconsultations.com. Zay, what name has popped up in the last, since camp started that has you excited for Texas?
Probably Ethan Burke. Yeah, I think him coming into the senior year, knowing that it's his time, like it's his job. He's going to be on that first team for sure. I think that we're going to see just a whole nother version of Ethan Burke that we haven't seen before. Going back to the 2023 season, you just saw so much promise there. And last year, even though he had an overall solid year, he was still backing up Barron Sorrell, and Sorrell definitely had more reps than him. But when it mattered, Ethan Burke made some big-time plays. Obviously, the one that stands out the most was the one in College Station. But now of him becoming the man, like, it means something when you start doing media availabilities and press conferences. Like, that means that Sark trusts you not only to talk to the media, but you're one of the main leaders in the locker room that he trusts also. That's why you see Mookie Taft do that. That's why you see Anthony Hill and now Ethan Burke. He's a part of that, group of leaders that is going to help take this team to the mountaintop. So very excited about him. I think still he's the type of guy that depending on the year that he has, could end up being a first-round pick. Like, he has all the measurements that fit that first-round mode. I know we talk about him and, the time that he had before he went to Texas with Jim Harbaugh and those guys. And Harbaugh was like, dog, you could be Aiden Hutchinson 2.0. And we saw how good Aiden Hutchinson was in Ann Arbor, and now we're seeing how good he is as a Detroit Lion. So why not Ethan Burke? Why can't he figure it all out this year and have that year that puts him as a first-round draft pick? I think it can be done. Obviously, he's going to have some big-time, shoes to fill, Baron Sorrell even, but I think Ethan Burke hasn't even reach the level that he could be at, and I think that's exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Ethan Burke up because I agree with you. I think, here's a guy who led the team in sacks and then loses his starting job through no fault of his own because Trey Moore is brought in, and they stuck with Trey through the first 8 games when he didn't do anything. Like, he had a half of a tackle for loss. That's it through the first 8 games. Now, the last 8 games, he turned it on. And he had, whatever, 7.5 sacks. And he was knocking the ball loose, 3 forced fumbles. He knocked Carson Beck out of the game. He made a bunch of big-time plays. He finished with 9.5 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks. Ethan Burke had 5.5 sacks the year before on 120 less snaps. Like, that's what's amazing. Like, Trey Moore played 647 snaps last year, and Ethan Burke had 5.5 sacks the year before on 421 snaps. And played half the snaps that Moore played last year. He only played 300 and change, and Ethan Burke still had 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a pick 6, blocked field goal, and 4 batted passes because he never stopped working. Like, he could have been frustrated and been like, what the hell? Those first 8 games? He's standing there watching Trey Moore do nothing. And then, the last 8 games, Moore comes on. But I'm with you. Like, I think we're sleeping on Ethan Burke because, he's got one of the most memorable defensive plays of the year with the dropping Amari Daniels for a 3-yard loss on 4th and goal from the 1 against A&M in a 17-7 game. If Amari Daniels scores right there, it's 17-14 with 4 minutes left in the game. And the Texas offense has moved the ball all up and down the field and turned it over twice in the red zone. And the defense was saving the day. And, Ethan Burke said people come up to him and they're like, hey, great play. Can I get a picture? And so, when you needed a play, that guy shows up. So I can't wait to see what he brings to the table, play in, play out. I want to see if he gets 600 snaps this year.
Right?
I guarantee you he probably doesn't, because if Colton Vosig's healthy, they're going to split those reps. They did not do that for Burke with Baron Sorrell. Sorrell, got pretty much all the reps. And are they going to let him rush the passer on 3rd down? Ethan Burke. I hope so.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, because you had Colin Simmons backing up Trey Moore in a way, so you didn't want to mess that up. Like, you were giving Colin Simmons more and more reps as the season went on, and then you had the Ethan Burke with Baron Sorrell situation. So it's tough. That room was thick last year, and it's thick this year. So you better make the most of your reps. And also, we talked about this too, Chip. Your guy that you're very high on, Alan Clark. What is he going to unleash with Ethan Burke? Because Alan Clark's track record, solid, real solid. He's worked with some guys that are making some big time money playing on Sundays. So even though Alan Clark's young, now that Pete Kwiatkowski doesn't have to focus on the edge rushers like he's had to the first 4 years he was here, this is the first year that Pete Kwiatkowski is just going to be CEO of the defense as the defensive coordinator and play caller. Well, Alan Clark is focusing on the edge rushers because he's that position group's coach. I expect with Alan Clark, just like what Kenny Baker did for the interior, to improve this edge rushers and defensive line, and it's only going to make all of the rest of those guys better. Like for him to say Colin Simmons was bored last year, like, yo, this guy, we're going to give him a bag. We're going to make sure this dude is unstoppable because he's going to have counter after counter after counter to where these tackles, they don't know what the hell's coming. I love that, man. Everybody's going to get a little piece of that. It's just how they allow that coaching to happen. I think this group is very coachable, and I think it's going to show up on the field.
So Barron Sorrell, and I agree with you, and I'm going to get to Alan Clark in a second. Barron Sorrell had 651 snaps last year at that jack strong side defensive end. Moore had 674 snaps at that buck end where Simmons will be the starter this year. Colin Simmons had 472 snaps last year, and Burke only had 324 snaps. So I can't wait to see, because from what I hear, Alan Clark has brought so much more technical work to these guys. Kind of like Kenny Baker did for Vernon Broughton.
Yeah.
Alan Clark is like, I'm going to tie your hands to your first step, your second step, your third step. This is what you need to be doing on each of those steps. And that is new. And the guys who have the physical ability grab that stuff and go. So Burke is one of those guys from what I'm hearing. That I can't wait to see what he takes from Alan Clark and puts onto the field, because Alan Clark's worked with Max Crosby. Alan Clark has been training NFL players since COVID, and then he got on with Ohio State last year, and boom.
Their edge rushers were pretty good.
Yeah. JTT and Jack Sawyer.
They were pretty good.
They're pretty good.
They weren't too shabby.
I mean, Jack Sawyer made the play of the game to get him out of the semifinal. We don't need to revisit that. But
get Cam Williams out the game, Steve.
Yeah, where's my man Gooseby?
Get him out the game. Trevor Gooseby would have done a little bit better.
I mean, he would have gotten in the way at least, instead of olaying him right to the quarterback. Yeah.
I hope Cam Williams is doing well at camp, because that's going to be a tough roster to make. The defending champs, like.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what old Cam Williams is doing with the Eagles.
At least you're playing with one of the best offensive tackles in the game. Hell, maybe all time when you're talking about Lane Johnson. So hopefully you're a sponge if you're Cam Williams. But Lane Johnson's incredible. Yeah. He's so freaking good. If you could apply any of that to your game, everything he says, that's one of those. You remember when Kobe Black had to let the guys know, hey, whatever Michael Taft says, just do it. I ain't trying to hear it. What's wrong with y'all? What do you mean, why? What the hell are you talking about? Mookie Taft say something. Somebody says why. Kobe Black say, wait, hold up. That's what I'm picturing. I don't know how it went down, but I'm picturing someone spoke up when Mookie Taft was trying to preach game to the rest of the secondary. Somebody say, why do this? And Kobe Black had to say, yo, hold up, dog. Wait, what? What'd you just say? Why? No, we don't do why over here when Mookie Taft's speaking. Just say, all right, cool, I get it. That's it. Like, that's one of them moments with Lane Johnson. When Lane Johnson talks, you listen. For real. Cam Williams, you need every bit of that IQ. All of that. Because I'm sure Lane Johnson seeing what we saw last year. You're seeing a guy with a lot of potential that has a lot of good measurements when it comes to the NFL game and playing tackle. Get off the bus guy, A1. But it's extremely raw and will make a lot of self-inflicting wound type mistakes. And now that the competition has only gotten better from SEC play to the NFL, it's only going to get more difficult. So how do you stick around if you're Cam Williams? How do you make all of these teams say, hey, this guy, he's worth picking up and putting on the roster. And if we need him, we can throw him in the game and see what happens.
Damn. Now I know why. Now I know why Texas lost OU 55-17 in 2011 and 63-21 in 2012 because Lane Johnson was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Oh boy. Yeah.
It's tough times, man.
Yeah.
Tough times.
So what's interesting about Cam Williams is, and CB brings up a good point. So right now, Cam Williams is running third team behind Lane Johnson and Darian Kennard. You're going to have to probably keep Cam Williams on your 53-man roster because if you cut him and try to sign him to your practice squad, he'll probably get picked up by somebody. Now, I could be wrong, but that guy, his best football is so far ahead of him. He should have come back.
Should have come back.
He didn't want to do that. He's ready to go be out of school. And now you want to develop and mold this guy. He's learning from Lane Johnson. He's in a good spot. He's just gotta take everything that he's being taught and continue to take it to the practice field so that they keep seeing the future with him.
Like, I'm still confused on doesn't like school part. Like, dude, every class is online. You get the best tutors out there. Like, we could have found him like the program when Halle Berry was tutoring Omar Epps. We could have found that. Someone nice to look at. You know what I'm saying? Like that. We could have found Cam Williams type. Now this 2025 team is dealing with right tackle issues. Andre Kojo out for the season. Praying that Brandon Baker stays healthy. Praying that these other guys, and we don't even know if he does stay healthy, how good can he be? That's a what if. You can say the same about Trevor Gooseby, even though we've seen a big enough sample size that we feel a lot more confident in him, and they're allowing Trevor Gooseby to speak, on that Tough All Day docuseries. I don't know if you've seen that yet, Chip, on Longhorn Network, the app. Trevor Gooseby, he's talking a lot. That means they trust Trevor Gooseby. So we feel good about that. But yeah, like Cam Williams coming back, could have found him a tutor, bruh. Like,
hey, let me tell you this. If you found him a tutor that looked like Halle Berry, he'd still be here.
Exactly. Like, what are we doing? This is Texas. I don't know his type. He could be into senoritas. That's cool too. Could have found him one of them. This is Texas after all. Could have been into the snow, little snow bunny. Nothing wrong with that. Could have found that for him too. Like we would have hooked it up for him, but he didn't want to play school apparently, knowing damn well he wasn't ready. Like how'd that exit meeting go? Because we know that's what they do when the season ends. Have an exit meeting about the future, where you stand and where you can be. Everybody has one. Steve Sarkeesian sits you down. I'm sure there's other coaches in the room. There might be family in the room. I don't know how deep it goes, but you have those discussions about, okay, son, where do you see yourself in the next year? What are you looking for? Where can we help you improve? How can we help you? How can you help us? How did Steve Sarkeesian come to the conclusion, which who knows, Sark may have, of, yeah, Cam, the NFL thinks you're ready. We think you're ready. You should go. Or did Sark keep it real with him, was like, I don't know, Cam, this, you were good for us, but you can improve. You can make a lot more money in the 2026 draft than you're going to this year. I get it.
That's what I heard he was told.
Yeah.
Hey,
he was like, no.
Right.
Nah, Sark, I ain't trying to hear it. Like,
right. Sometimes guys just think they're ready. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like Jamal Charles and Jermichael Finley were like, we're out of here. And everyone was like, huh? And then they were right.
They were right.
They became Pro Bowl players.
Yeah.
Then you have guys who leave early, go undrafted, and are never heard from again. And that's tough.
Yeah. And like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, at some point, I'm sure Sark felt like, dude, I'm not trying to beg you to stay, because where's your head going to be if you do stay with what we're hearing on how bad you want to leave right now? Like, that's where it gets tricky, but yeah, playing school, that's what we've heard. You want to play, like, it wasn't that hard. The curriculum couldn't be that difficult, bruh. Like, they would have given you help. You get help. Like, I don't understand that. Like, you get help. It'd be different if you were on your own. You get the best tutors that money could pay for. I hope I'm eating my words, man. I hope 5-10 years from now, we could go back at this clip and we say, man, Zay, you were tripping. Because Cam Williams is a perennial Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ perhaps, and is one of the top paid tackles in all the National Football League. That's the goal. That's the dream. But
Cam Williams
penalties, bro,
was majoring in physical culture in sports.
Okay.
Physical culture and sports. Seems like we could have found him a tutor for that.
We could have found him a tutor. Yeah. You play sports.
Right.
Like,
right. So,
yeah.
But let's get to the chip shot. So I'm gonna kind of talk about a little bit more about what I wrote today, the position flexibility, the fact that Texas has guys who are capable of playing multiple positions. We're seeing them move positions because there's enough depth. Like Jalen Gilbo, he talks to Jahdae Barron, and he's like, what do you think I should do? Jahdae's like, if you want to play corner, you want to show people you can cover, tell them you want to play corner in the spring. That's what I did. So that's what Gilbo did. Went to Aquino, went to Orfe, said, hey, I'd like to play corner, show people I can cover. It worked out as well as it could, it would seem, for Jahdae Barron. Jahdae Barron, 5'10", team lead tying 5 interceptions. He and Andrew Makuba. Barron wins the Thorpe first-round draft pick. So great timing for Jalen Gilbo to say, hey, how about I give that a try? And so far it's sticking because, as you pointed out, Zay, Jalen Gilbo's getting to talk to the media, which tells you the coaches like where he is in his respective position group as a leader. And Trey Moore. Trey Moore, he had a really good second half of the year, but the feedback from the NFL was, we don't really see you as a 4-3 defensive end, and we sure don't see you as a 3-4 defensive end. And so he's like, I got to show I can play linebacker. What do y'all think? Okay. So he gets that in the spring, and he shows them enough to where he's still a linebacker, to the point where they were moving Brad Spence, who I was really excited about at linebacker, to edge, so that, you know, if it's you're going to have Ty Anthony Smith and Trey Moore as the backups to Anthony Hill and Leonga Lafau. Brad Spence, people are like, well, wait a minute, why is he going to edge? He's only 241 and blah, blah. Here's the thing. I think Brad Spence will go back to linebacker, but for this year, he gets to show he can rush the passer. You're not going to play I was told this, you're not going to play Colin Simmons 60 snaps a game. So Spence is going to get in for some, like Justice Finkley did. Let's see. Justice Finkley, and I got another quick little nugget on Justice Finkley, but Justice.
Where he at? Kansas?
Kansas.
Good for him.
Justice Finkley played 95 snaps last year. Okay?
Damn.
Brad Spence, he'll probably get over 100 snaps because he had 4 sacks last year from the linebacker position at Arkansas. He's a good player. Anthony Hill likes Brad Spence. So, and if you need to move Brad Spence back at any point, it's an easy fix. But the fact that Texas has the depth to allow this kind of stuff to happen is what's just like, picture where Texas was 5, 6, 7 years ago and now. Like, linebacker's been a tough position for Texas. Like, you got Derek Johnson, you got Gary Johnson, you know, you got Malik. But like those guys, like Derek Johnson went into the NFL and is the all-time leading tackler for the Chiefs. Rod McElroy. But it's not like Texas has been putting out linebacker after Jordan Hicks for sure. But it's, you know, it's kind of gone like this. And that's a position where Texas has been known, you know, Tommy Nobis and you know, and Derek Johnson. And now you're starting to see it. Anthony Hill. If this Tyler Atkinson is as good as I think he is, then Texas is going to be pipelining linebackers into the NFL. And Trey Moore is going to benefit from playing with Anthony Hill or being on a defense associated with Anthony Hill. So this is like a new world. And there's so much talent in the secondary. You know, when Jalen Gilbo's like, Grayson Littleton's one of them ones, and Cade Phillips is one of them ones. And Cade Phillips is, you know, he, Kobe Black, and Warren Roberson, Santana Wilson, like, you're 3 deep at corner. And that's, again, says a lot about Grayson Littleton, because you could have moved some of these other guys. You could have moved Santana Wilson. You could have moved Warren Roberson, but Warren Roberson is an outside guy, a man guy. We got to see how it all plays out, but there is a lot of talent on that defense. They're 3 deep at edge. Lance Jackson's playing this year. Zena Umazulu's playing this year. So, yeah, some of those numbers are going to come down. Like, I don't think Burke's going to play 651 snaps like Baron Sorrell did, because some of those snaps are going to go to Colton Vasek. Some are going to go to Zena Umazulu and Lance Jackson. So, and I think,
yeah, let me ask you this, because the Trey Moore thing, it's still interesting. Like, you think about Pete Kwiatkowski's defense, you got 5 secondary players, your nickel, your 2 corners, your 2 safeties. You got your 4 defensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 2 interior guys. Then you got your 2 linebackers, which I expect majority of the time to be Anthony Hill and Leo Lafau. So where does that fit for Trey Moore exactly, who I think his snaps are going to decline extremely from 2024 to 2025 due to the position change and also the guys that are in front of him in Hill and Lafau. So how's that look? Like, what does that mean for him exactly?
Right. So let's look at David Benda. David Benda played 314 snaps last year. That's where Trey Moore will probably be. So he'll go from 674 snaps to 314-ish.
Yeah. And this is his last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how, as a competitor, which I'm sure he is, like all these guys are, what's that conversation like when Pete Kwiatkowski and Johnny Nansen say, yo, your snaps might be cut in half this season and we're moving you to a different position? Like, you realize how all about the team you have to be just to be good with that?
I mean, Trey Moore could have gone. He could have entered the draft and taken his chances. But the feedback was, you're not a 4-3 defensive end and you're not a 3-4 defensive end. You're an outside linebacker or maybe an inside linebacker in a 3-4. And so Trey Moore was willing to bet on himself, even if it means, fewer snaps, because, David Benda is in camp. And if Trey Moore's not going to get drafted, which is what the feedback was, it was go back to school, then you got to bet on yourself. And that's what he's doing. And he deserves credit for that. We'll see how it works out, but I mean, it could work out great. Yeah, but the measurement for him is going to be David Benda. Can he put up, David Benda had he had 61 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, forced fumble. Those are good numbers. And he's, as a linebacker, Trey Moore looks good. Trey Moore at 6'3" and 249 pounds. Okay. And he can move. We know he can move. That's a good size NFL linebacker right there. So,
and also that just kind of adds the more, versatility with Anthony Hill, who could play on the line at times, depending on the situation, and rush the quarterback. And Trey Moore can fill in that linebacker spot if need be. Like, that's what you're saying, Chip, just the joy of this team and how many guys could play different positions.
Well, we got to get to the right call. Remind me tomorrow to play the clip of the Kansas player talking about Justice Finkley.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Gotcha. Get to the right call. Before that, though, got to give a shout out to Covert BK, family owned and operated. I've been doing it in the greater Austin area for over 100 years. Wife and I love Covert BK because we get our vehicles from Covert BK, and you can too. Listen to these fine folks speak highly of Covert BK.
It's really a family experience. I walked in the showroom today and everybody greeted me by name. How are you doing? What's going on? How's everything going?
From a price standpoint, from a customer service perspective, just conversation when you come in, it feels no pressure. I want to buy cars here.
The family buying car experience, one of the best that you will ever have.
Come and experience it for yourself.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip. So you know how I feel about Ime Udoka. Think he's a great basketball mind. Think he's a great coach. But what he did to Nia Long, what happened with that situation up in Beantown, can't forgive him for that because Nia Long is that special of a woman. Now, you know who else thinks Nia Long is that special of a woman? Your boy, Clarence Hill, who on a tweet that Nia Long put out earlier today, your boy C. Hill went on and told her to come to Dallas because she is still that woman. Like Jalen Gilbo says about Grayson Littleton, one of them ones. Yo, boy Clarence Hill, talking about Nia Long, one of them ones. I guess Clarence is single. Maybe he got something going on. Who knows? I didn't see anybody with him on his arm when him and my pops got inducted to the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame, which I don't think that's what it's called, but that's what I remember it as, the Black Sports Hall of Fame in Texas. Shout out to CC and Clarence Hill being a part of that 2025 class. But yo, for Clarence Hill, who has been a beat writer and sports reporter for the Cowboys since 97, for him to put this out on his X account shows you that Nia Long is a special woman. To make Clarence Hill crash out like this and invite her to Dallas because he thinks he has a shot shows that Nia Long is still that special one, man. Telling you, this you just like, and y'all telling me to let it go. Who told me that? My man B Nasty told me to let it go about my man Ime Udoka. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. And I want to let it go. I don't want to hold on to that. I don't want to hold on to anything. I don't think people should do that. You know what I'm saying? You can forgive. You don't have to forget. I don't think I could do either. I can't forget. I can't forgive. And I hope that Houston's good this year because I'd love to see Kevin Durant get another ring. And I got a lot of Houston Rockets fans. But if they don't, karma's a mother.
What movie is Nia Long the hottest in? Because I remember Love Jones.
Oh, man, with Lawrence Tate? Yes. Yes, that's up there. I
mean, she's been in amazing movies. She was in Boys in the Hood when she was little kid then.
Yeah, that's not, yeah.
So this movie, Fatal Affair with Omar Epps, came out in 2020. I haven't seen that.
I feel like I've seen it. And Omar Epps has lost his mind. That's what it is. Omar Epps, he breaks it off with him. He becomes a stalker. Yeah. Yo, my man B Nasty might be right. She looked good as hell in Big Mama.
Okay.
Mark Lawrence was playing Big Mama, the grandma. She looked good in that one. Best Man, that might be my favorite version of Nia Long because she's wearing this like lingerie for my man Tay Diggs right after he got his ass whooped by Morris Chestnut. And he was supposed to go back to do a little something with Nia Long, but he got a black eye, he bleeding and stuff. So that might be even though it was a movie, everyone felt the pain for Tay Diggs in that movie. Not being able to, soul food, Makai.
Oh, soul food. Oh,
Pfeiffer has her in the bathroom with a leg in the air and stuff. Yo, she's been in some stuff. She's been in some stuff, man. Friday, Lord. That woman.
Yeah, soul food, man.
Soul food
That's
might be it. Good call, CB. Soul food might be it. Cause yeah, I ain't never seen her name is Bird in that movie.
That's a good call.
That's a good one. Yeah, my dad texted me talking about the Texas Black Legacy Hall of Fame. All right, that's what it's called, Texas Black Legacy Hall of Fame. Appreciate you, Pops. Appreciate you for listening and correcting me, because to me, it just sounded like the Texas Black Hall of Fame of sports. That's what it felt like. But it was awesome. A great event. Great event.
Love it. CC. Appreciate CC.
Yeah. No open gym today. So
no open gym today. So again, please like and subscribe to the Texas Sports Unfiltered YouTube channel. I'm gonna go see what Steve Sarkeesian has to say after training camp practice number 5. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe and keep the faith.
Y'all be cool.